Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today what we are going to do is work on the rear lights section here. Now in the last episode we worked on the headlights, and as we can see in here, what I did was I merged the two sections together, three sections that we worked on together. I separated the front faces here, and that allowed me to change them to a slightly different colour. And then I just applied a material to all of these sections here so they all kind of blend and merge into each other. So if I move the wireframe here, we can see that we've got quite a nice little shape there to the lights section. Now, what we're going to be doing with the rear lights is exactly the same as what we did with the front lights. Now, the recording for the front lights did fail, so if you found it a little bit tricky to set up the actual case and container for these headlights here, we'll be following the exact same method through the rear lights as we did through the front lights, so you'll be able to go back to that should you need to. So what we're going to need to do then to get this kick started off is we are going to need to firstly have some reference images, and here we will see exactly what it is that we're needing to put together. So we can see that just like the front, the lights here are kind of attached to the case that we're going to be building. Just like the front, there are individual units like we talked about before. We've got this section here that's going to run all the way along the back, which is kind of going to run along the bottom of these lights and into the honeycomb mesh that we'll be creating very soon. So what we'll need to do here then is get started straight away on our case. So in the first episode, in the last episode, I used a plane to get started, and on this plane here, we're going to need to make sure that we have 0 subdivisions on both sides here, well, 1 subdivision on both sides here, and then what we're going to do is simply rotate this around here so it's facing the rear section of the car. So we can hit that -90 on there. If we pull this roughly up into position for now, we're going to need to use a combination of the side and rear orthographic views that we have used in the past. So once it's loaded in, okay, we are going to need to line these up roughly with what we have. So we're going to actually make the whole shape first. So just like I did with the headlights, I actually laid out the shape of the headlights first and then extruded in. So what we'll do here is, if we can limit this view to the parts that we actually need. Side here, and we will snap to sections of this rear light here. Smooth there. So I'm going to snap to the sections of the rear here just to get the basic shape, and then we can add some subdivisions as well should we need, just to help us with that shape a little bit more. So maybe we drop that in there. I will just do this rough for now, we'll finalize it afterwards. Far down, so this goes all the way to this lower section down here. Just drop that there for now. Okay, so we've got kind of the basic shape there, so we're going to need to jump into our rear view here, which we have just here. So we can see that it's actually the inner section. I've snapped to the outer section there, so we actually need to snap to our inner section here. So to go a little bit higher, so that's going to make it a little bit awkward for us, but not too bad. We can bring that out there. Okay. And then we'll just check the side view here, just to make sure that we're insetting these in enough. Here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So we've got that rough shape just inside there now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to now extrude it in. And once we've extruded in, we can then edit these sections here. So we're just going to hit Ctrl E there on the world option. We're just going to go straight in. And we'll see that's given us these black faces here, but that's not a problem just now. And we're going to do exactly the same as what I did before. I'm just going to straighten this right off. I'm just going to bring it in past its furthest section there. So we're making it a little bit larger than we need to, but we're going to be creating an interior section which is going to be nullifying everything inside there anyway. We can select these frontal faces here to delete. So now we've got the actual cage itself that we're requiring here. So inside here as well, what we're going to do is we are going to insert some edge loops. We're going to put an edge loop in where there's already geometry as part of the body here, and we're going to do this because we want this to be sitting nicely across the whole section here. And when we're snapping these vertices, we don't want to snap them to the front section, we're wanting to snap them to the supporting line that we added to help maintain the smooth. So it's just sat slightly behind the actual body panel itself. Snap that one here just now, but we will want to move it at some point. Should be fine. We can do the same over here. Now, a similar problem that I came across with the front section is that, let's just get that as close as possible, is that our body here actually interferes with the shape that we created, which we don't want. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to select all of these vertices here. And just push them up there. Push those up. So now all we can see is the cage inside, and that won't have affected the actual model itself unless you've just done what I did. Selected extra vertices that we don't want. There we go. And what we'll do here as well is we'll just check this rear view again, that back view here, just to make sure that we're following this line nicely. So we see we've got a little bit more help inside here now in terms of the structure, so we can make that curve look a little bit better. Yeah, that's looking good, so we'll just bring these interior sections up as well. But again, we're probably not going to see anywhere near those edges there. Okay, cool. So we've got the cage kind of set up just there, and what we also want to do is just exactly the same as I did on the front. We are going to want to insert some edge loops, and what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to create this ridge that we have here, and we want to create this again so that we can attach the glass to it and give it just a little bit more formation. So we can see here that we've got a little bit of a gap, and then we have a raised section there. So come back here, just going to check our side view just to make sure that we're looking good all the way around there, which we almost are. So it's important just to make sure we're properly lined up first, because the more geometry and the more topology that we add to this section, the more awkward it's going to be in terms of moving around and adding in our details. Good, so okay. we are going to insert an edge loop, and we're going to go in just a little bit, just like so. And then we'll take a fairly substantial section here. Select all these faces, so we'll select all the faces around this whole edge. We are actually, before we do that, let's just make sure here a bit more of a gap. Yeah, that's better. So we'll extrude this in, and we are going to push up there just to take that lip in. I'm going to take it in quite a little bit. And also what we did was we took it back just a little bit as well. So we can hit the world option here. We can just take that in a little bit there. Okay, so it looks like now what we'll need to do, because of the shape of this, is we're going to need to go in and edit these points just a little bit. So take these two sections and isolate them. And we're just going to make sure that we're maintaining correct inset here. And the main issue will probably be only really around these corner sections. These ones in here. The rest of that looks pretty good there. And what we'll do is we'll instantly get this smoothed off and set up. So we will insert some more edge loops inside here. And what we want to do is we just want to define the edges of this element here. Okay, so we can see now we've got a fairly nice ridge going all the way around the edge there, which we can attach the glass to, which is good. And what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to match our topology the best we can, just to make sure that we're maintaining the actual shape that we want here. So again, we're going to use our edge loops, and we're going to lay one in at the back just to help it maintain the structure towards the back section. We're going to add some edge loops here and here to make sure that we keep as much of the right angle as possible. And we'll also add one here and here, just to keep that box, those actual sharp corners, to run around all that edge there. Get these as smooth here. See, now we've got a nice section there which is maintaining the correct curvature of the car all the way around. It's just going to give us a nice little ridge for that extra little bit of depth when we add the actual glass to it as well. So that's looking pretty good. So we see that we've got the overall shape in there, which is perfect. Let's take this too. Okay, so we're looking good there. Now what we want to do is we want to think about the actual definition inside this section. So we can see here that we have a main kind of light that we have here. We have one additional one to the side, and we have these at the top, which are kind of divided into two sections. So we're going to use the same technique as we did with the side lights, the daytime running lights here, where we created the actual polygon primitive, we extruded along, and then we created all of the information in between. So this is probably the best image here. So we're going to create our one light. We can see that it's slightly inset, and we can also see that it's part of actually a main frame. So we're going to make this shape first, and then we can then extrude off to create these edges here, and then we can extrude up as well to create all the additional ridges that we require. So what we'll need is another plane, and again this is going to be very similar to what we missed in the previous episode. Change those down to 1, we'll get that rotated all the way around. Roughly into position. Okay, so in our rear view here, hopefully these blueprints should have the shape, which they do, perfect. What I'm going to do with this is we are going to crudely make the outline, and then we can take in any details that we require from that. So we'll go all the way up here to here, so we can see that it doesn't go all the way up to the edge there. Go all the way down here to here. Now on my blueprint it appears to be somewhat straight. It's got a slight bend. It follows the curvature of this bottom section a little bit, so we need to make sure we get that included in. What we'll do here is we will extrude up, and we'll make sure we do it on the world for now. What it looks like to me that we'll want to do is we'll want to have edge that looks something like this. So we can see kind of like a little prism kind of shape there. So what we'll want is, what I actually want to do, if that is the case, push this up halfway. We'll extrude down on this edge. Again, we'll do it on the world option until we get it all put into position. Our way down the second edge here. We'll extrude down all the way to the bottom. So the reason we haven't matched the curve just yet is because what we're wanting to do here is because we can see that we've got that slight shape in here, the slight prism shape. Maybe we should represent that shape all the way down. So we'll go all the way down here. Try that again. These edges and the vertices associated with them. So we'll keep that same shape going all the way through. Okay, so it's pretty good to me. So, what we're going to want to do with this then is we are going to take all of the vertices that aren't part of this center line here, and we'll pull them in. So we can see now we've got that kind of prism shaped section inside there, that angle inside inside there, which will add some nice reflections to the actual headlight itself. And we can see that over here, that's roughly in the correct spot. Looks to be almost exactly where we want it to be. And what we'll do now with these sections is we will move them all into roughly where they should be. Here's the top view. I think what we'll want to do is maybe rotate these vertices here. Okay, so that looks half decent there. So push that in just. And what we'll do is we're going to ignore what we can see ever so slightly on this blueprint, and we are going to pull these sections up higher and over this ridge section that we've just created, so we can hide any of the geometry that we don't want to be seen. I'll pull all of these up to the side here, and again they'll sit nicely just behind there. Now with this bottom section, what we'll do is pull it up just a little bit, so not interfering with anything else that's going to sit underneath. Okay, so that's looking pretty good just there, I think. This middle section here should probably come in as well. Maybe this bit needs to come. Okay, happy enough with that. This bit here needs to come as well. Okay, that's looking good to me. So what we'll now do is we will duplicate this section, just so we don't. What we'll need to do first actually is we'll need to add the curvature to it. So in our back view here, what we're going to do is we're going to insert an edge loop, and we're going to add one every time we have geometry for the cage, and we're just going to adjust it slightly. Just so we're following the same curvature. I think the side there should be okay without it. And what we're going to do here is we are going to duplicate this face, and before we move it, we are going to go to edit, and we are going to modify, and we will freeze the transformations. We are going to center the pivot of just one of these. So center there. There we go. What we're going to do is now we can see that all of the points here on the right hand side are set to 0. So we're going to pull this down here. So when we want this to go back into the exact position, we know that we can change this back to 0 here, and that's going to bring it back where we want it. For now we're going to move this down, just in case we do something here that we don't want to do. So here, we're going to select the edges. And as part of this, we are going to extrude. Now, it doesn't look like it's helping us too much here on the component option. Maybe if we go in here, okay. So this now is going to extrude again, and this time we will use the world option. I'm just going to go in just a little bit here. Fine. And what we'll do is we will deselect this edge on this side, and we will then, with all the bottom edges there selected, we'll extrude up. We're going to go all the way up here. So this is going to be kind of like a little additional vacuum section. So this is where the lights above are going to be attaching themselves to. And what we'll do is we will merge that vertices there. Perfect. So we've got like an extra little section inside there. And what we'll do is we'll do the exact same for all the other parts as well. Okay guys, so I followed that all the way around here, so we've got all these faces around these edges now, and these are going to be home to the various other sections of our headlight. Now, real light. Now what we need to do is, now we can't see them split up there, I believe it's split into 3 sections across the top. So, what we'll want to do here is divide this up nicely into 3. So if we use our mesh tools, that one looks pretty good there, and this one here looks pretty good. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And what this should allow us to do here now, if we isolate this, we don't need anything else just now. What we'll want to do here is we will select these faces on the lower section here and delete them. And we'll select these faces here, Control E so we can extrude these through here. Looks now we can merge the vertices of these lower sections. Okay, so we've got that ridge section there, and what we can actually do is we can get rid of these ones here, as we won't see those anyway. So we've got those doubled up sections there. Doesn't look like we need to do anything underneath. It doesn't look like we need to do anything on that side either. So that's looking pretty good. Now, I believe what we'll actually need to do as well is we'll need to add some edge loops here. And here. And we'll need to do a horizontal line. What we'll do here is we'll do the exact same again. We'll bring these faces out. So we'll extrude those and we'll come straight out to the front here. Up, so do the bottom two, top two, selected something there I didn't want to. Okay. Delete this face and here. Just merge these here and here. Cool. Okay. We should have another face we don't need here. Delete those faces. Those ones. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. So we've got now all of the main areas laid out for this section here. Now, I'm looking at this and thinking if we want to smooth this or keep it roughly as it looks. Well, either way, happy enough with that. So, what we'll want to do then is we can see. We will now want to create an edge which is going to allow us to I don't think we'll need to smooth that. I think that'll look pretty good when it's under glass. So what we'll do then now is we'll create another polygon plane. Take this out here. Make sure that this has 0 and 0 again. what we'll do with this is we will just bring it up here, and we are going to align all the vertices here to our edge. Here. Yeah, we'll just do it real rough, real quick, and then we can alter anything we need to afterwards. So, the edge that we actually want to align this to is the ridged section here. Now, with this ridged section, what we'll actually want to do... Looks like I missed a loop there. So what we'll do is we'll snap it to that second loop on the ridge here, so it's just behind. Snap that to the second as well. And what we'll want to do here is we're going to want to now just add the same information that we have on the lower section. And we're going to put one line across the way there. So we'll bring all of these parts here. And here. And we're going to do the same again. We're going to make sure that we are snapping to the second point inside here. Okay guys, so that's looking pretty good just there, and what we'll do now is we will just remove the central edge here just to make it easier, which made it easier for us to add in our subdivisions going up and down the way. And in our mesh tools here, we're going to add an edge loop which runs across the top, one that runs across the bottom, and then one for either corner over here, just to make sure that's going to maintain those nice square corners for us. And now, with our fingers crossed, we can hit 3, we can hit 3, and we can see that that's going to follow that curvature really nicely for us. Pretty good. Okay guys, so that will cap off this episode here. What I'm going to do just in between is I might just have a little bit of a tidy up inside there, apply some materials, see how it looks if it needs materials, and then potentially smooth it off should I need to. And whatever I do, I'll keep you updated in the next episode. I think in the next episode what we'll do is we'll move on to some of the major details, and we may look into putting together the honeycomb mesh for the front, along with the trim around the side, and again the honeycomb mesh in the back along the trim, and then any extra little bits for the diffusers before we move on to the wing mirrors and the alloy wheels. So, hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.